let's get down to business. What in the world is your biggest obstacle? How'd you ever get through it?
Wow, that's really a great question. And I think everybody kind of hits a wall, from time to time. And I think for me, what I have learned to do for myself, and particularly with my career in real estate, there was all kinds of shenanigans going on there. But whenever I had a moment where I was blocked, or I was not in my highest and best with that person, or there was some sort of a conflict there, I would always return back to my breath. So I just simply, you can do it, you don't have to be in a meditative state to return to the breath, but I would always return to my breath. And you can do it while you're just even looking at that person where there's some conflict or some resistance or something. And I would just quietly, in my own way, just receive the in breath and then just release the out breath. And sometimes in those moments of conflict, this is so silly. Like if somebody's like, oh, then I would just be actively in observance of another human being having an experience. And I would be quietly scanning my own body. Am I noticing anything with my pulse rate? Oh, it feels okay. Is my heart racing? Not really, or maybe, do I have any kind of sensations in my body that are showing me that I'm experiencing some sort of an energetic hit. And I would do that and then just return to the breath. So that would probably be that's been my biggest winner for facing something that was kind of wackadoodle.
How did you go from, it interests me, how did you go from quote unquote, I don't hate to say a standard career, but you were you were quite a star. I mean, like a mega star in this real estate business that you were in, and now you are in soul realignment, Akashic Records. This is quite a leap. How did you know that leap was right for you?
Wow. Whew, we're gonna get right to it, aren't we, Jody?
Just came
No, it's so cool because back in Austin, I was doing land development and doing production homes, custom homes with others. We would buy ranches, cut them up, and do all kinds of amazing, beautiful land developments. And I got to be included in that. And I always looked at myself as the apprentice, but through that, I got to have experiences of learning that. I had another developer I worked with that was putting together a Hampton Inn outside of Austin in Marble Falls, Texas. And so I had some really unique opportunities to be with really brilliant people who had vision. And that was probably my most wonderful and fun time ever. And I used to work out of a ranch house. The kids would get off the bus. There was a ranch house there where the kids could come home and come to the ranch house and get snacks. And then we had horses there if they wanted to go horseback riding. We had some people there that would put them on the horses, it just was, it was so dreamy, And then, so the segue from real estate to this is, when my children were grown and, they were gone, I decided to go back to Houston and know my mom. And I did. I got to know my mom more. And then I noticed that my real estate stuff was, in 2014 was my biggest financial year in residential resale. Now I had made more money in my other avenues with real estate, but 2014 was my highest in residential resale. And then in 2015, guess what? The rug was pulled out from me.
Oh my God.
Something happened in a most deep, profound way that everything that I was really kind of touching with the real estate did not work. It just did not work. And part of this too was I had a complete, almost a reset with my body system, and my consciousness had a gigantic shift. I could go on and on from that, but yeah, so one of the things was the electricity. So for me to open up a door, to open a house, to do a showing, or even go to one of my listings, the devices I used, I could not operate them because I was super electric. Everything, all the batteries burnt out for me. light bulbs were going off. So I had some huge, tremendous shift in my own body system.
And I'd like to stop there because you brought up a really, really a big topic. I know a woman right now who actually has lost her hair, and she has the same issue. Why do people have this issue? What is, and it's true. I mean, it's not like she's making it up. I mean, things around her just go bonkers. What is it? Is it an imbalance of something, or what is it that, or does it mean something needs to be birthed?
Oh, wow. I'm so glad that we're on this, because I think a lot of people right now, in this present moment of now, which is eternal, right? But a lot of people are experiencing different things with their body and with how they're operating their body. So it took me about 6 months to figure out, I would have to take another realtor with me to open up the house. It just blew my, my revenue, But what I found from that is I took one of my best friends, and she says, everybody thinks you're crazy, Susie. I said, I totally get it. So let's just do a crazy thing together. I took her to one of my listings, and I said, here's all my devices. I had 3 devices to open up a lockbox. I said, I'm going to do it right in front of you. You stand next to me. I got an error on my device. I said, here's all my passwords to get into this lockbox, and I'm going to walk 20 feet away. And sure enough, it worked for her. So all those batteries I was doing over and over again, it didn't work for me, but it worked for somebody else. So that's when I went, oh, it's not the stuff. It's not the material things around me. It's me itself. So then I started activating and working on, okay, so possibly I'm having some really huge ascension symptoms or ways of being that I can't relate to. And then I started doing grounding practices. And with the grounding practices, I always work from the bottom of the feet into the core of this planet. Before, people say, well, I want to be more illuminated, so they want to work from the crown up. Well, I'm already up. But so for some of us who are really feeling these different charges and different feelings and sensations within, it's going to be real important to find a grounding practice. So then my grounding practice was at the bottom of my feet and tethered and centered with our beautiful planet Gaia. So when I was at an appointment, and I had clients behind me, I said, because I just played it off like I'm goofy and zany, right? I just said, listen, just let me go up there. I do this like really funny little process, a little prayer that we have a good appointment or whatever. And so basically I'm with my devices, I'm grounding at the bottom of my feet, sitting into the core of the planet. And I'm asking for the loving support and the sustenance and the fertility and the protection of Gaia. And when I started doing that work, the grounding, it was huge. And then I could open up, I could get right back into the business. And so that was kind of my practice. There's a lot of other things to do with that. But if you can find one practice where you can see you have a positive event, even at my house when I was watching TV, I couldn't even watch TV because my remote battery would always show that it was dead. So for 6 months, I didn't even watch TV. I could turn the TV on, but I couldn't, do the cable or whatever. So that took me 6 months. But now for people that are experiencing this, I'd say, God, get on the bus here with me and let's see if we can find a grounding device or grounding technology that best suits you. And that, bottom of the feet, I'm working with the bottom of my feet all the time, like just really saturating in the energy and drawing it in and being anchored by the planet. We want to be, if we're here, we want to be tethered on the planet.
Well, yeah. And what I'm hearing is that the way that you can have this energy, this kind of flightiness, is by just getting that grounding. And that's, right. It's kind of interesting because it's kind of parallel what I do with the women that I see, because we get grounded in who we are and our own self-confidence. And you're very complimentary in that way, because there's so many ways to work together and to work parallel in order to get that energy centered. And we are made up of energy. I'm not trying to sound like, to those of you who aren't quite into this stuff, phony or otherworldly. We are made up of energy. That's our bodies. I mean, that's just a medical fact. I mean, we know that. And we are experiencing, in my view, more of a world where we are more in touch with other energies and practices that what you do, perhaps I know in the 70s, 80s, people would think, oh my God, these people are really weird. And now it has come, there actually is scientific evidence of the grounding of these energies over the years. And now I see a shift in people saying, well, doctors are not gods. We can work together with other energies and the medical field together. And I think it's an awakening.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the idea of this grounding of self, is you can also call it earthing. And earthing maybe has a different meaning than maybe what I'm going to be suggesting here. But the earthing is walking out in the grass or in the dirt barefoot. Go lean against a. And I'm in the desert, so I don't want to lean against a cactus. But yeah, but you can lean against. But have your spine, your central nervous system, completely connected with a tree. You know. Just sit with a tree and just feel that energy. When you start really connecting, then you're going to actually start feeling the vibratory nature of all life itself. And I remember it back in, so I've been like this person for a long time. In 2008, I decided to be part of an international poetry workshop. And we did poetry every day, original work. And at somewhere in 2008, I began to look out at a tree and I could see it breathing. I could see it breathing in and then breathing out. So I was beginning to have all of this awareness of this brilliance of life and this vibration. People say, well, there's, the space between you and the tree. Some people may experience it as a void, but everything all around us is very vibrant. It's when you are able to conceive and believe it's possible that there's all these frequencies and vibrations. And I also call them helpers too. There's a lot of helpers that are working with us. We can't see them. We can feel them sometimes. And sometimes, we can have an experience with it that's relatable and loving and supportive, because everybody that's here on this planet right now is here at a most special time. Everybody here has a purpose. And if you don't know what your divine purpose is, you've already lived it. You are perfectly planted in that divine purpose.
I have a question for you. For those really new to all this, what kind of tips can you give for somebody to get more in tune, to find with these energies, with other beings, with their own true selves? What would you suggest for beginners?
Well, I always go all the time. It's about the body. Now, some people will say you're a soul and you've got all this stuff, and I'm like, no, we are here now. We have a body that is materialized by the planet. All of this is sourced from the planet Earth. And then we have this beautiful spirit. So I would say that begin to really have a deeper relationship with your body. And so in any situations that you can continually love your body. You love the essence, you love the spirit of yourself. And then you start with the next thing is to be aware of the body. And it's different than just, okay, I've got a body. I know I've got a body. But it's like start noticing when messages come up, a little bit of a headache, a little tenderness in a shoulder, or little lower back pain, or digestion isn't moving as quick as it could. I've got a little bit of inflammation in my feet, When we start noticing things at the onset, so we don't sit and go, oh, you something's going on, but you're not denying it, but you're not receiving the message, because at the earliest onset is the opportunity to start working with healing that self within your own awareness, within your own body. But when things continue to persist, and then you go about and you're busy and you're distracted by all the shiny stuff, which is the illusion in some essence. But when we step aside from really be more realized in our body when these things occur, is as sure enough, if you don't address it, something's really big, and I call it the sledgehammer. It's going to hit you right over the head and go, doggone it, you got it. You keeping it, you name it, you just don't do anything with it, you got it. And so that's what we don't want. We want people to start addressing even like little bitty things. You know, sometimes I may have something on my toe, or, you know, like yesterday I was doing some push-ups. And so that I was feeling a little tenderness here, and I was like, see, it's gone now. But I addressed it because I felt there was something here, and then it was in the muscle, and then I was kind of working my energies with it, and it's clear. But we want to take care of things sooner. And little digestion stuff, do something now.
Let me ask
You
you
know,
a
change your
question
diet,
right
do
there.
something different.
And I want to ask you, because this is, you're bringing up some very important points. I don't want to skimmed over. What about somebody like me? You know, hey, I've got lower sacral issues, and it's been going on for, now I realize it, a long time. So people, you know, there's hope for all of us. And granted, I'm not going to my back, you know, like a 12-year-old or something. But what can people like me do also that can start the healing process in a different way?
Right, right. Yeah. So, you know, and it's so funny because when people like, you know, come in and they're like start naming stuff, you know, like, don't give it a name, you know, because it becomes part of your family now, you know, it's like a little sister, you know, or, you know, whatever. But what I would suggest that you do is that you begin, like, if you've already have something that has manifested, that you still find the love of yourself. And there's no need to go back and do forgiveness on it or anything. Just love yourself as you are right now. And you might even take a look at that circumstance within the body that has shown and is present. And you might just kind of look at the gifts of it. And this sounds so creepy because everybody's like, this is not a gift. This, you know, this is gross. I don't like it. You know, I feel bad. But look at what has come from it. You know, possibly has somebody, I mean, do you have prayer warriors, you know, or do you have people that are reaching out and saying, how are you? How can I support you? So sometimes when we want to be such like a warrior, you know, like a warrior, you know, diva, you know, that we're so strong and powerful, but sometimes we have to experience the other side of that. The other side where we're a little bit more vulnerable, that we're a little bit more soft to receive help from others. So when we're in these positions, we are in a unique opportunity to receive love, to receive brilliant love and support.
And I would caution that with who we ask support from,
Yes.
because I was in so much pain, and I had asked somebody for support, and believe me, I did not get it back. That's all I can say. And the long short of it is like, buck up. You know?
Yeah.
And I hear
Right.
you, and I hear you, because it's, you know, how else are we going to do it? I mean, how else? I was a teacher. How do we make kids grow? You don't say by saying you're stupid. You say it by giving, you know, looking at the positive.
Right.
And that's what I'm hearing from you. And it's a
Right.
real gift. How do you keep from
Yeah.
getting burned out?
I don't know. I kind of feel like for me is that when I am able, um, when I'm doing the Akashic Records or this work with helping people feel better in their body, is that I benefit from it. And I just feel so honored, you know, that my soul came in this way to be able, I'm getting even misty even talking about it, because it's so beautiful to be in the presence with another person or human being or soul aspect and be part of that journey and get to be a witnesser of the life and the journeys and the healing, the forgiveness, all these different things. I get to be a witness to it. And so sometimes I do feel a little bit, sometimes I'll be real exhilarated after doing some of this work, and sometimes I'll just need to take a little bit of time to process, because as the energies are working with me through the vocalization of my voice and through my breath work, there's a lot of breath work when I do this because the frequencies are different from my body, but it doesn't hurt, you know, it feels good actually, is that I have the opportunity to almost sit with us. It's like two souls coming together, and we're going to join together for a little bit of time here, and then we're going to have a shared reality. And so I just, and there's been times since I've been moving a lot and moving around and traveling that I haven't done the records, but when I return back to the records, I'm like, whew, I just feel, you know, like this is my beautiful opportunity to access my divine purpose and being of support with others. And so sometimes I do get tired, but I go to bed early. I'm like this, like I'm a grandmother, but I'm like a granny. I go to bed so early, but but I'm an early riser. I like to get up really early in the morning.
Who supports you? Who gives you that kind of support? And I know that you're in a relationship, but I mean, really from that core,
Yeah.
from that energetic.
Right. Yeah. So I'm definitely in a beautiful relationship. And it's been an upgrade for me. I would say that most of my team is not embodied, but I have a lot of ancestral kinship that comes in. I have a lot of different support. I go straight to to God or source energy. So I am completely available and open to the wisdom of things that I may not be able to understand or comprehend, but I still activate and invoke that energy to come in to be a support as I'm working with others. And then what's funny is when I'm just by myself and I've got like some little hiccups going on in life, I forget to even do it for myself, but I know that I take time to rest. In my office, I have a day bed. So a lot of times I'll just be on that day bed. I call it my teenager room. And I like to lay flat. And the flatness for me feels like very similar to underneath the pyramids, where you are in those chambers. And so I kind of feel like I'm in those scalar frequencies or the scalar waves underneath the pyramids. So I just visualize that I'm in this healing chamber and there's nothing I have to do, just
Now,
nothing.
I was in the pyramids actually in Egypt, and I'm 4'11", and they were even tight for me. Now, I lying flat, if you're over, I mean, I was, like I said, 4'11" was tight. I don't know if you're over 4'11", I can only imagine lying there literally, in there. I mean, it's quite a feat that they did. And the energy, that's very interesting. You talked about the energy from there. That is really, what are some quotes that appeal to you that you really value?
Oh, good. I'm so excited. Okay. So, oh my gosh, when I first was introduced to Louise Hay, through different things, and I just was so profoundly impacted by her work back in the 80s with our beautiful spirit friends. When what we call AIDS or HIV came through, I was so touched by her work with working with these young men. I just was like, I just fell in love with her that moment when she was doing that work. So I've got two quotes from Louise Hay. And the first one is, each thought I choose is like a drop of water. When my thoughts are positive, I can float on the ocean of life. Yeah. And so I've got these cards. And the second one, again, another Louise Hay.
I gotta find out, why did you choose
Yes.
that one? Why did you choose that one?
Well, I basically do things intuitively. So I've got, these decks of cards. I've got all kinds of different cards that may be a support to others. So I just chose two from the deck, and I said that feels right, And I think this next one I think will feel really right now too, with the current climate we're in. So again, this is Louise Hay. I have wonderful, harmonious relationships with everyone, where there is mutual respect and caring on both sides. Whew. I mean, I was like, whoa, that's really powerful.
Wow, I need to write that one down. That is beautiful. Very powerful.
Awesome.
Very, very powerful. What would you like to see? Do you have an idea or something that you would like to bring to the world, be it a business idea or something that would help women all over? What would you like to see happen if there is something, an idea or a mission or
Right. I just really see the work that I'm doing personally is to assist in walking each other home, or walking together in a harmonious and uplifted and a brilliance of light. And so that may sound like it's not super grounded, but I tell you what, right now is a perfect time for each one of us to come together And no matter what we look like, what our you know, our words or our thoughts are doing, that we still come together in harmony and alignment. And my biggest goal through this period of the 2020 energies is that we can come together. This is bold, but it's like that we come together and we create a tipping point on peace and on this planet, and more clarity with the planet, more awareness of the planet, of the species, and all of the qualities that this planet gives us. This you know, I'm going to say something kind of crazy, but I kind of feel like, in a way, that we're kind of like, we're fleas on a dog's bottom. I'll just say that, keeping it PG. Anyway, but we are fortunate to be on this planet, and so we must give back, you know. But I'd love to see the tipping point. 51% of all humans having a relationship with a higher level of consciousness, in the conception and the belief that this planet is worth it, that we're thankful for it, and we are not the higher species. We are one of many, right? But there is a greater purpose here, and I'd love that 51% of the tipping point to be on the side and the presence of loving this planet and loving each person here. People say, well, that person did me wrong. I'll be like, listen, everybody right now, and the eternal now, is doing the very best they can. They're just doing their very best they can. And so we have to lead with love with these people and move that tipping point the best we can. And that's it.
Beautifully said. And I do want to say that I did have a session with Susie, and I felt much less pain, which is a big deal for me. And I will say that I felt tired also. I had to sleep. And I don't know, but I woke up so refreshed, and I would highly recommend her. She just really went above and beyond. So I'm very honored. And gosh, God, where did our time go? What a beautiful way to end. And thank you. It's just a joy and having you on the show. I thank you so very much.
And thank you so much, Jody, for your willingness to do the records with me, and for your beautiful light when you're illuminating all these different people on your show, and just shining light in all these areas. So thank you for your divine work. That's your divine purpose.
You're welcome. I'm going to keep that one. Thank you so much.